It is the Riot Podcast. This is the Thursday, May 11th edition. Somebody say something quick.
Quit telling us to do that every time.
You know it's coming.
Right before we start the podcast, you got to remind me of that.
You're a professional. You should just know at this point.
I can't remember.
You just jump right in and you tell them the quick good stuff is about what we covered in our podcast today.
I think we should start lying.
Lying?
I think we should start lying in the podcast intro. What do you guys think about that?
I think if you just were like, hey, if you listen to the end, we got a chance to win $1 billion, something like that.
Yeah,
that's
lying.
a good way.
We need a hook.
I think that we should just talk about the stories, but just like slightly tweak them. Kind of like, what's the thing when you like put a thumbnail up that's not really what the...
Clickbait?
Clickbaity.
Yeah.
We should be more clickbaity in the podcast intro. Like, we talk about, like, Sylvester Stallone's daughters or whatever that are all, like, super baddies. I could be like, I went on a date with Sylvester Stallone's daughter.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Be like, listen to how Isaiah's dating Sylvester Stallone's daughters went.
Exactly.
Yes.
There you go.
And then it could be like, also coming to a Wendys near you, they're going to have robots at the windows, which is actually kind of true.
Yeah.
We talk about the testing of the AI ordering that Wendys is now going to try.
Also, why Nikki thinks women should not be allowed to go to Mars.
There it is.
How do you like that?
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
And
a good
Hudson and
one.
I are for it. We want women to go to Mars.
Yes, by all means.
when you hear that story, just know we're not falling for it.
Yes, exactly.
That's a trap.
And so that's a lot of the good stuff. You can
I
touch
love
on whatever
this
you
idea. So anytime, we'll just tweak it a tiny bit so that you guys are more interested to make sure to last all the way to the very end of the podcast.
want. And then when you get there, you'll just be disappointed.
I didn't
No,
talk about any of that stuff.
if we make the podcast long enough, they won't remember by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
They're
fine.
like, was he said he was dating their daughter? This doesn't sound exactly like that, but it sounds kind of similar.
Well, get excited to tell what we really will be saying then in the podcast today.
What if we do this? What if we said part things that we actually talk about and just make up some other things, and then the mystery will be which ones are actually ones we're
Ooh,
talking
that's
about.
a way better way to do it.
Isn't it?
We could have a couple fake stories that we didn't actually talk about.
But I think
Right.
sometimes we don't remember the whole show to where
True.
I don't think we might be thinking we're lying, but we actually did
We
cover
actually
it.
are telling the truth.
That's why. So let's
No,
not.
I'm going to make up some real good ones for tomorrow that we don't
let's
actually hit.
Not have a podcast of lies.
I
All
love
right?
lies. I think they're
It's not
hilarious.
lies, it's mystery.
Mystery and intrigue.
Yes, mhm.
Well, we'll just let you guys enjoy the podcast. We won't lie or fib anymore. Make sure you text and say hi at 877-2-RADIO-U. We should be talking with John from Skillet in tomorrow's podcast.
Unless it's a lie.
Good point. And then with this podcast, if you want to check out the video from before, we did a Riot food fight today. We tried the 2 new drinks from Starbucks. So make sure you watch that video when you're done.
What if our retention metrics would just be the best if we didn't do an intro at all?
I'm afraid that's what we're going to get to. Actually, it'll be
Now we're
there's
thinking.
not even an intro. They're like, no podcast at all.
No, cut the podcast. Enough of this.
Thank you guys for listening. We do appreciate you.
See you guys.
Catch you next time.
Bye.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
How long can you go if you're dating somebody? And this probably depends on how long you've been going out or married or whatever. But how long could you go without talking to the person you're going out with before you got worried?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, like for you, for Eric.
Yeah.
How long would it have to be where he hadn't texted or whatever before you start to go, what the heck?
Well, I think if we didn't talk within a day, I mean,
One whole day?
unless someone was out of town, you know, like away or doing a project, or
Yeah.
you know, like I'm at work today and it's a really important day. So I think if there was an understanding, but if I just didn't suddenly hear from someone or him, and it was probably like 24 hours,
Yeah.
it'd be weird.
Because I'm thinking for me, it would
Especially
be.
if they lived with you.
Yeah, right. Obviously, the whole dynamic changes when you're living together. But, you know, for me, even going for a whole work day, and it's not even a whole work. If I went to the end of my work day, which is like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard from my wife by
be
2
weird.
o'clock, I'd be like, what's going on? And I'm a guy. I feel like I'd be much more, like, we're probably more patient with that type of thing. But yeah, when you're in a relationship, you expect to like check in fairly frequently, I think. And then when you don't, like, that's just like you start to wonder. And then at some point, I don't know how long it is, but then it's like, are we even in a relationship? if we're not talking.
Now, if you jump to that and it's only been a work day, I'm just telling you guys,
but
bring it back.
when
it might
you're
not be that
dating,
bad.
though, when you don't live together,
Sure.
especially when it's earlier on and you go like 2 whole days, and it's kind of like you might be at the spot where you're like, is this like they forget about me or
Sure.
something? And it just makes sense that that's part of being in a relationship is talking to each other and whatever. And that's where I think a lot of people wind up kind of missing out on God is maybe you at some point you're like, hey, I'd like to have Jesus in my life. And you say something once and then like you don't check in very often. And it's not that anybody stops, it's not that God stops loving you, but obviously you're going to get more out of the relationship if you're checking in routinely. So maybe that's a little reminder for you that if you want to find out more about God and have him like really make the most impact in your life
to keep that relationship going.
Yeah, keep those channels open. Start talking to him and make sure to listen to him as well and see the difference that makes. It really, really, and it doesn't have to be long, drawn-out conversations, but just a check-in every once in a while. Just like you text somebody else that you're dating or whatever every once in a while, hey, how's it going? Do that to God. Let him know about what you're going through, and he'll help you with it. If you want to know more, check RadioU.com/free gift. That's a good place to start as well.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
This is a big a moment for women, Nikki. I think you should be very proud and very excited because the European Space Agency has found that as we look towards sending astronauts to Mars,
Oh, yeah?
the European Space Agency has found that it should be women that go to Mars.
First?
They need the first person on Mars needs to be a woman.
Okay, great, right? At first you're like, that's what an honor. That's
It's a huge honor.
so modern
It's history.
of them to think about that. But no, because the first people that go to Mars are never coming back.
Well, this is only it's 1,080 days is the mission they were talking about. What's that? 3 years?
Yeah.
So for 3 years,
And you never come back.
they can make it back.
They're not supposed to. I think it is. They've been pretty transparent.
You don't know. And besides that, it would be an honor to die on Mars.
No, it wouldn't.
You die a hero.
No, even if I was the first woman to die on Mars, it's not an honor.
You would, whichever woman gets to die on Mars, it will be a great honor to them.
I feel
people
like-
have died doing much stupider things.
I feel like a group of guys got together and like, all right, let's work on the Mars thing. And you're like, I have a great idea. Why don't we let women have this honor?
Yeah, we should.
And then they're the ones that go first.
Well, it's not just because that we want to get rid of a few of them. It's because it would also be cheaper.
Really?
We'd only have to pay him 76%.
Oh, no,
I'm just
get
kidding.
that.
No,
You're awful. You are awful.
It would save $158 million to send a team of women to Mars as opposed to a team of men.
That's horrible.
Well, it's
I will say
true.
we probably could get there faster. We're just more efficient on some things.
Yeah,
so.
but you probably get lost.
Oh, I just can't. Hudson, I don't get mad at you.
I love this story
For
so far,
one-
and I haven't even said anything yet.
One moment, I think I got mad at you.
It's just a stereotype. But it would save money, save food.
Because they don't eat as much.
They don't eat as much.
No, you guys
need
choose
less
not to eat as
calories.
much.
You need less calories.
This is awful because you guys tell us we don't get as much.
Listen.
Yeah, you're just smaller humans, typically.
Yeah, for this 1,080-day mission, the women would use less oxygen, produce less carbon dioxide, and require less food, and therefore it'd be safer and save money and resources if women go to Mars first.
Wow.
We're sending the littlest ones, right?
That makes sense,
I
right?
mean, it would make sense.
Thank you to the European Space Agency, the ESA, for all of this and for Hudson's take on this.
We can just never win. We try to give them something
I know.
to have. Like, you guys can be the first one to go to Mars. That's like your thing. That can be your thing, but they just don't want to do it.
I'm sure there's plenty of women that are very excited about this. It's just not Nikki. They will die on Mars, and they will be happy to do it.
You send me, you pay me more. I'm eating all the food, and I'm going to cause trouble.
Double the
It doesn't
food.
matter what
That's
we pay
right.
you, you'll be dead.
If I'm going to die on Mars, I'm going to eat like a king. You better bring some food along the way.
They'll be like, we sent 3 years of food. You're like, well, it's gone. All right. I had a bad night.
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
Let's do an NBA update.
Oh, how was last night?
Last night, boy, were Isaiah and I wrong.
Why?
Because we both thought that the Heat and Lakers were likely to close out their series and move on each to their respective conference finals, and neither of them did.
So the Warriors won?
The Warriors won. They have stayed alive, and so have the New York Knicks.
Oh, you guys are pretty sure the Knicks would have lost.
Yeah, we
I still thought they were going to for a little bit of last night in the fourth quarter. It was a pretty close game until the end.
Yep, so close call, but the series continues on. The biggest headline from last night is that in the Warriors-Lakers game, Anthony Davis, definitely the second best player on the Lakers behind LeBron, took an inadvertent elbow to the face, and he actually left the game. He was seen in a wheelchair. He wasn't able to return to the game.
It was that bad?
It was that bad. They say he did not look very stable on his feet after he got hit. I do have an update that he was tested for concussion, and he seems to have avoided that, but he still got banged up pretty good. So obviously that affected last night's game. But the question is there any after effects? Is he going to be fully healthy for game 6 back in LA?
Maybe it just hit the right spot, like, unfortunately, because otherwise when you're watching the clip of it, it doesn't look too bad. But if it's an elbow to the right spot, then that's what caused some problems.
Yeah.
Hudson, do you want to say it or you want me to say it?
Do you not think it's as bad as he's making it seem?
He's kind of a weenie.
Okay.
If I'm being frank, I love Anthony
I didn't want to
Davis.
say that, but when you're watching it, it's like, what? Like, what happened?
He's like very well known as, like, if not the most, like a top 3 most fragile player in the league.
Fragile for
He's
sure.
always hurt. And so when
Handle with
they
care.
said he doesn't have a concussion, but he was seen in a wheelchair.
I see. That
I'm
makes
like,
more sense
wow.
now.
I get it, and he's 7 foot tall.
Yep.
So I get that, like, if you are a little bit dizzy, like, if I was a little bit dizzy, it wouldn't be a big deal, because if I fell, it wouldn't be that far.
You'd fall
and if I
5.5
fell into
feet.
somebody, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But obviously, if you're 7 foot tall and you fall,
Your balance.
that's a big deal. People
Yeah.
around you could injure a small human, and but the whole wheelchair thing, no concussion. Come on.
Especially, like, if it's such an important game and you're leaving the game, that seems a bit...
You better be in that wheelchair.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like
They're like,
a
you
bit
got to sit in a wheelchair or something, because this looks bad right now if you're not going to have a concussion.
Well, have you ever been pushed around in a wheelchair before?
No.
What do you mean? Like,
Like, have you just gotten to be
I've
pushed
never
around
been in a
for whatever
wheelchair.
reason? It's actually, it's kind of nice sometimes.
it is.
Really?
Like, if he was feeling a little wobbly, I don't blame him. Like, yeah, have somebody push me around. I'll take it.
But, I mean, these, again, are very important games.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem as serious as maybe he was making it.
Well, it was also like, what? It was later in the game, so maybe they were kind of like, we'll just,
Send him out?
We'll,
Sit him down.
We'll play it safe, and we'll keep him around. Hopefully, he'll be good to go for game 6, just in case. And, with concussions the way they are now, better safe than sorry.
That is true.
And so he hopefully will be good to go for game 6. It'd be so disappointing too if he did wind up if the Warriors are able to come back because of this, or just for any reason. It'd be so disappointing.
And game 6 is a big game, because this is right now the Lakers are up 3-2. They need to win one more game to close out the series. And game 6 is their last chance at home.
Oh, I see.
And the Lakers are really good at home. So if they lose this next game at home and Anthony Davis doesn't play, then game 7 is back at Golden State,
Wish they could do better.
which could be tough.
So when's game 6?
When? We
What's
should have
today?
done that.
What's today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
It's got to be tomorrow.
Okay,
They
I
have
wasn't
been
sure.
alternating on and off, but we'll just assume it's tomorrow, and hopefully we're right.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
You know, Sylvester Stallone, ever live for nothing or die for something.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. He's got a new reality show coming out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's him and his wife and his 3 daughters. It's called, I like this, The Family Stallone.
Very cool.
What about Frank Stallone? What about him? So it's going to be premiering on Paramount Plus on May 17th, a few days from now. They're doing the rounds of interviews, and they were just on the Today Show, and his daughters were talking about how Sylvester Stallone, being their dad, makes it difficult for them to date.
Oh, because he's very intimidating.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
because he can't, like, he's getting on in years now, but he's Rocky, he's Rambo, he's Judge Dredd. He's a big, intimidating guy. At least he seems like it. And so if you were to go on a date with one of these gals and they brought you home to meet Papa, and Papa's Sly Stallone himself, would that be intimidating to you? Or would it be like, whoa, this is cool, I want to hang out with Dad more than I want to hang out with the daughter now?
I think it's probably not just because not like he's an action star intimidation, but just because he's so famous. Who's the other guy who talks a lot about it? Mark Wahlberg. He says a lot with like his daughter or something. So
Another short king.
it's Mark Wahlberg. I think Sylvester Stallone's not very tall.
That's what I'm saying. Sylvester Stallone isn't even a big guy.
Yeah.
He's not?
He's 5'9", like 180 pounds.
Now. I mean, he hasn't gotten that much shorter, but he used to be, I mean, you've seen him with his
He had
shirt
more muscles?
off. Yeah. And if you see him with his clothes on, maybe you just assume that's what's still underneath.
Could be. Maybe he wears like the boots with heels that some guys wear. So.
The lifts.
Yeah, the lifts.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would you think, Isaiah, if you were going out with one of these gals and then all of a
Say
sudden...
you were wooing
A Stallone.
a Stallone,
Yeah.
one of the young ladies, and you had to go meet him.
Well, for me, as I've never looked up Sylvester Stallone's daughters before, I'm just shocked that these girls are all three just stunning.
What a
I don't even know
surprise.
how that works.
His
What a
wife's really
surprise.
pretty.
It doesn't make any sense to me because I'm not that Sylvester Stallone isn't like a good-looking older guy, but like all three of his daughters stunningly beautiful. So I would be more intimidated by them than him for sure if I went on the date with them.
Just because the whole family is so over the top attractive?
Yeah, because the three girls, I mean, if I walked into a room and those three were sitting there like, oh, we'd like to meet Isaiah, I would be like, oh my gosh. I don't even know how to talk to each of you. I needed to get you all individually. I need a little time with all three of you. Actually, let's just make it a triple date. This sounds great to me. And then Dad could also be there. I would not be in as much awe as him as I would his daughters, unfortunately.
That makes sense. So they're just all intimidating.
Yeah, they definitely are.
I think that's a good point. If you're a guy, it's probably, unless you just have through the roof self-confidence, asking one of these gals out in the first place and having any kind of successful date is much more intimidating than saying hello to Sylvester Stallone.
Well, one of the
What
daughters...
is he going to do to you?
One of the daughters does have a boyfriend, and the boyfriend and Sylvester Stallone are like BFFs, and they have matching tattoos.
Well, look at that.
So,
Man.
it is possible. They're not all single.
How do we secure a date? I'm willing to talk to Sylvester. I don't really care that much about him. I would love to talk to his daughters more, preferably.
There you go. Well, they've got a show, and it sounds like they're on the market.
Sounds like I need to get on it.
Meeting Isaiah will be season
Get me
2.
on the show.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U. It's time for a Riot food fight.
It is The Riot on Radio U, and we have a food fight on our hands. We've got the new Starbucks drinks. They've put out 2 brand new drinks for summertime. They've got the chocolate Java Mint Frappuccino.
There it is.
And the white chocolate macadamia cream cold brew.
So I will tell you, I think we spilled more than maybe we have
We did
to actually
spill.
try. So it's all cleaned up. No need to worry, but there was some spilling.
Yeah. And I'll tell you also, we got the small version of each. For the white chocolate macadamia cold brew, there's so much ice in here.
Yeah.
That even the little amounts, I mean, we all have about this amount.
A little sip.
And between that and the ice, that's like the whole cup almost.
Well,
there's not a lot left in the actual.
Well, you want it to be
drink.
cold.
A lot of ice is not, I mean, that's normal, but it is a lot of ice.
It's a lot of ice.
What do you want to try that one first?
Sure.
So the white chocolate macadamia cold brew, I think you and I were more excited about this, but
Yeah.
Isaiah, you're not
I
as
want the
much.
mint.
It
You want the
smells.
mint?
It smells
I
good,
love
though.
mint.
It smells good.
All right, so let's try the white chocolate macadamia cold brew. That's the one of 2 new items from Starbucks.
Pretty much tastes like
Cold brew.
expect.
Vanilla cold brew, yep.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think it's better than some of the other ones.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean,
The
it's
macadamia
nice.
is nice. The white chocolate you get. You have to drink more.
I mean,
so.
it's tasty. if you're getting this and thinking it's going to taste like a white chocolate macadamia nut cookie,
No.
it's
Not
not
even close.
the same.
No, but it is, I feel a little bit smoother, and the white chocolate and macadamia stuff goes really good. That's actually not bad.
It's kind
Not
of
terrible.
It's almost like drinking cereal.
yeah, cereal
Isn't it?
milk?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I don't think that sounds bad. Did you just finish?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, it was so minuscule.
You don't want to leave any behind?
Yeah.
All right, the last one is the new Starbucks Java Mint Frappuccino. Isaiah loves mint, so you
Big
were
mint guy.
more into this one.
There's a big smell on this one. And you guys gave me the cup remnants. Look at all that syrup left at the bottom.
That's how you know it's good.
Oh.
That's how you know they didn't mix it. Somebody didn't mix it up. Was it you guys? Or?
That's pretty good mint.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that tastes good.
It's not too artificial, like toothpastey mint. No, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Oh, no, those are good. What do you think? Yeah.
I love mint.
Ooh.
This
That's
is so
nice.
good.
Interesting.
I could drink
li-
this whole thing.
It's lighter mint. You know, it's like a lighter version of
Yeah.
it.
That's right. It really is not a in-your-face mint situation. It's just
I
kind of.
love that.
Just
that
a
was so
slight
good.
Why
hint.
don't you ask
A hint of mint.
Hudson for the full one?
I know he's over there tonguing it.
It's like, you bring it back
I
over
intentionally, look, I put my spoon after it went in my mouth. I put it in this cup.
here. Okay.
Thank goodness.
Share some more.
Uncontaminated.
It's real good. That mint, and it came with like, it looks real pretty when they give it to you. It's got like these green sprinkles on top. Like I could tell right away what it was
That's
because it just
good.
looked like mint.
So the Java Mint Frappuccino, the white chocolate macadamia cold brew, I think they're both pretty strong. I feel like I haven't liked a Starbucks drink in a while. Mm-hmm. I think my stars have all fallen away. I just haven't been there in a while, but these are good.
I do have a question. How much did we pay for these two drinks?
$10.25.
Here,
No.
I have the receipt.
I think so.
It was, $10.20. $10.20 for the two smalls. It's actually not the worst.
It's not terrible.
Not horrible, but that is with that in mind, I will give them a 3.8.
That's it.
out of 5.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't have the cost as a factor, because I think a lot of
Then-
times when you go to Starbucks,
You know
we
what you're
ignore
getting.
that cost.
Yeah, you know what's happening.
So
Based
then,
on the taste on these flavors, what would you give those?
like a 4.
4? All right.
Yeah.
I agree. I think
I feel
4.
like I give everything a 4 though.
maybe
so.
4.5. They're good.
I think I would give the whatever the cold brew one.
Yeah.
The white macadamia. That's like a 3.4 for me. Not a big fan of that one. But the mint one, that's like a 4.5.
You like it?
I don't really have a Starbucks drink, but if I went back to Starbucks, I would order that. That would actually be
There you
my
go.
drink.
So that's the Starbucks Java Mint Frappuccino and the white chocolate macadamia cold brew. That was a good addition to the show today.
I'm glad we
good.
got to
went
do
with
this.
that.
Glad we got to do this. We should have more coffee more often.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Bromance is making a comeback. Guys like Isaiah and I, bros, apparently it's becoming more in fashion and we're just becoming more, would you say, Isaiah, we're becoming more emotionally available to each other again?
Aww.
I would lean no, but continue on.
I didn't know that trend went away, but
No,
I mean,
yeah, because
I don't think that's ever been a trend.
it was.
yeah,
What, being emotionally available?
because guys typically, if you would watch TV and movies and whatever, just the standard, the expected male friendship is always very superficial. It's just dudes talking about sports, drinking beer, and not really having any too deep of a connection. But nowadays, I think as guys realize that you need to be free to open up. You need to have somebody to open up to. Mm-hmm. Ergo, the bromance.
Did you read the study? They're like, while women may be especially quick to draw attention to a conclusion. Oh, I can't even say that. To a conclusion. So, like, women will just talk to you too much. A man might be better to have a bromance with, to have a friend that you can connect with, to just let you talk and not try to maybe figure it all out. If that
Just a
makes
listening
sense.
ear.
Yeah, just a listening ear.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't be good at that at all.
You don't want to?
Because I don't shut up. But if you did want some listening ear, maybe turn to another man.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
A bad idea?
Bad idea.
As a man with lots of man friends,
Yeah.
you want to know what we talk about? We talk about golfing.
That's it?
We talk about sports. We talk about women. and that's about it.
That's all you got. Well,
But
then you're
that's
not.
what-
Those are not. Then that's not a bromance. It has to be someone that you have a friendship with. That's a
Or-
little bit deeper.
I think I do have a best friend who I'll talk with on a more deeper level. But that's just what your best friend has always been.
Yeah. So this would
But
be.
not everybody's always had that. Or,
No, not everybody's had a best friend. I guess you're right. So if
And
a
everybody-
bromance is finding a best friend.
And dudes and bros don't always their best friend. It's not always such a deeper connection where they're having those more serious conversations.
so is the bromance back?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
It's
I
time
think
to
it's just
open up.
person to person. If you can figure out somebody that you're close with, figure it out. If not, it is what it is.
Find a bro and get close to him.
They say women can be more skilled at like emotional expressions, again, but not all of their conversations are helpful. Who wrote this? Some female to female friendships can lack empathy and understanding. So they say that, male to male friendships can be a little bit better.
I do find that females lack empathy and understanding.
I don't think
I've
I
noticed
understand.
that.
I'm just teasing. Tell me more, Hudson. Let me hear about that.
I totally agree. No, this is, listen, find a guy and start telling him your problems.
There you
Don't
go.
do this. Please.
The closest,
You're going to be weird. I'm telling you right now. You got to take your time. Take your time. Don't just meet a man and be like, bro, let me tell you about my terrible life.
No, it has
Bad
to
way
be.
to do it.
It has to be a close friend.
has to
Yes.
be a bro.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
Just one more mark in the story that weddings are getting less and less traditional. The latest update is that you can now register. You get your wedding registry on Etsy.
Oh, on Etsy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You
that'd
ever
be
shop on
awful.
Etsy?
It's expensive.
Etsy's awesome.
Well, it's awesome, but yet everything will be so much more expensive because it's
Well, it's not your problem. It's your wedding.
yeah, but
People should buy you nice stuff.
You're having people buy a lot of those expensive things. But I
Okay,
think
that's the point.
We're running out of stores.
Yeah, it's for the privilege of coming to your wedding.
Yeah, sure, Nikki. Just make yours at Target, all right? Fine. Do it at Goodwill if you want. For me, Etsy.
But a lot of times Etsy is just people that resell items that are, like the fast fashion of the craft world. So it's not all as homemade as people think.
See, they're not propping that up. They're propping up how you could get vintage goods on Etsy and handmade and
So that's the
custom
Goodwill
items.
stuff, Isaiah.
Precisely.
Yeah, handmade and custom stuff too. What do you shop for on Etsy, Isaiah?
Oh, you mean...
What is
What
it?
do I shop for on Etsy? A bunch of Cleveland Brown stuff. If I'm looking for like sweet gear for my team, if you go to Etsy, you can find just the nastiest of stuff. It's awesome.
People do make some pretty cool things.
Make
on there.
super
what?
cool custom stuff. Or you can go to the NFL shop and pay like 3 times as much, and you're going to get like the same typical stuff that you're always going to get. Or you get this nice custom stuff that's super cool.
You still surprised me. I didn't think you'd be an Etsy person.
Oh, they've got good stuff on there. It's like for all my sports teams, they have like real unique stuff. And so like if you wear it, you're gonna for sure get a compliment on it.
You know what's funny about that though is that like the stuff on Etsy, even the sports stuff, because I've seen it, is the type of thing that to get in person you'd have to go to like a craft fair, which none of us would ever do.
Yeah.
But when you're looking on Etsy, it doesn't feel weird. You don't feel out of place. But if you went to a craft fair, you'd be like, I don't belong here. And looking for the needle in the haystack that is sports themed memorabilia type
It's always
stuff.
women's stuff though.
That's the
as I'm
exception.
scrolling.
Otherwise, you might not feel like you belong on the Etsy registry as well. They say that you'll be able to get things more customized with names and stuff, which doesn't go well when they want to return it or resell it if they don't like your gift. So maybe putting a name on it's not the best.
Well, if I'm spending all this money, they shouldn't be able to return it.
They will.
That's what I'm thinking. So Nikki is definitely anti
Anti-Etsy.
registry.
I'm not anti-Etsy. I bought in a few things, but there's just been so much controversy about what are you buying on there and what do you think you're buying compared to what you're actually getting. And again, if you invite someone to a wedding or a party and there's a registry involved in it, some of that stuff can get very expensive, and it seems like it'll be even more expensive.
So
But the good thing is, it's with the registry. You can buy whatever you want. Or here's the kicker. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
If you want to go off the registry, just go off the registry.
No, they hate you when you do that.
Well, then whatever you get them should be fine.
And then you just have to be early to the registry so you can sort by least expensive and then buy a bunch of the little things.
Yeah, if you're buying your wedding gift at the last moment, you're a fool. You're a stooge. Just go ahead and get it out of the way early so that you don't get stuck with buying the most expensive thing you didn't want to buy.
Or maybe you could just get an Etsy gift card to the person. They could buy their own stuff.
There you go.
I'm
Boom.
thinking I want to open up an Etsy registry. So if you guys, just for me being alive.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Big opportunity for Radio U, specifically Radio U in Ohio, the home base of Radio U. We could take a road trip to the first Wendys to ever have an AI drive-through.
Oh, for the ordering?
Yeah.
Hey, that's fun. I bet we know the one.
Did you see? Yeah. It says that Wendys, so they partnered, and I guess they're testing it in Columbus first, and then if it goes well, they will branch it out to Wendys throughout the country. But they've teamed up with Google to put together what they call Fresh AI, and it's actually an artificial intelligence interface that's going to be able to have a conversation with you, a limited conversation, they say, take your order in the drive-through.
Yeah.
And then obviously the real people make the food, and that saves them having to have an employee manning the microphone, and saves them having to pay an employee to man the microphone.
I feel like they're running out of people.
Oh, definitely. People don't want to work there. They don't want to pay people to work at all. It's everybody's happy except probably us, because I don't know if this is going to work.
I have seen, some of the videos, especially like McDonald's was testing some. There's some downfalls to AI through the ordering. Why don't we just do, like, if you ever gone through Sheets, or why don't you just do the touch screens? Like
the kiosk.
Why are they so resistant to that?
You just put the kiosk outside, and then you just put your order in and you drive up. Like, why can't I just do that at the ordering thing?
I'll probably tell you why.
Why?
Because I don't think the touch screens probably do well outside.
That's what I was thinking.
The Sheets ones are fine. They put the little umbrella thing over it, and it's just fine.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
You go to Sheets all the time, right?
I go inside.
Yeah, I go inside every time. I didn't even know that. I mean, I've seen drive-thrus. I'm like, what are those for?
Yeah, I didn't know.
I was like, is that a car wash or something? I don't know that.
So instead, if you want to make an order, you don't talk to somebody. You just put in your order yourself.
I don't talk to somebody anyways.
I know, but you can do that outside.
Via drive-through.
Yeah.
Why haven't we done this?
I know.
I didn't know. I don't think it's a thing, but I'm not sure it could be. I like going inside Sheets.
I mean, all of ours are brand new. So
yeah, it probably is. I don't know. I like going inside.
Mine has
the
it.
whole experience.
I don't want to go inside. I prefer not to talk to anybody. And I know AI, the person in front of you is going to think it's funny to cause problems with it.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would just like a little touch screen that I can.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I just want to do my own order and get in and get out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If they had just a touch screen where you can, you know what they do? It's called the app.
It's the app.
It's
why don't you?
I hate the app.
And then you just scan it when you go through. And why can't we just do that?
Can I tell you? Okay, hold on.
I hate the app.
Hold on.
Continue.
This is the worst thing. When you go to the drive-through, right, and you pull up and it says, "Welcome to McDonald's. Are you using the mobile app?"
Oh, but that doesn't even matter if you say yes.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
It's not actually a person. It's a recording.
It doesn't do anything.
I always get frustrated with my wife because we've gone to this McDonald's so many times.
I was going to say the same thing.
And she always answers, and I say, don't even acknowledge
Don't even say it. That's
Don't
what I
even
said.
give them the satisfaction.
I hate it. My roommate did the same thing. Said, you got to say yes, because I always use the mobile app when I go to McDonald's because I use the deals, and it always asks, are you going to use the mobile app?
Yep.
And I used to say yes every time, and then it would be like, hey, how may I help you, man? And I'm like, okay, what am I saying yes for?
The recording, at least of the one I go to, is an employee of that McDonald's.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you'll say yes, and then he'll say the exact same thing.
Hey, how may I help you, man?
He'll say it again. And it's actually the guy, not the recording.
See?
I hate it.
If we could just have some screens, put up a little thing over it, we could do it ourselves. You don't have to do any sort of AI and hire anybody.
I'm fine with can we just put the 16-year-olds back in there, the 17? I'm fine with just the high schoolers. I don't need the AI. They can just make money working at McDonald's. I'm fine with that. Because then when they mess up my order, at least I can just be upset with some 17-year-old.
Yeah,
when the AI does it, then I'm just 10 times more upset.
And there's no
I'm like, well,
help.
if you didn't have this stupid robot back here, my burger would have been plain.
You guys sound very grumpy.
I hate it.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
All right, you guys, give it up. I know you must be planning something.
What are we planning?
Okay, you don't have to play coy with me anymore.
Is there something coming up?
I know you have a surprise planned for my anniversary, and I can't wait anymore. The show's not going on that much longer today. I think you just need to just get it out.
Okay, what anniversary are we celebrating today?
It's Nikki.
What?
You don't have to pretend anymore.
No, I
know that you know that today is the anniversary of the day I started at Radio U.
It is? Aww.
She's really committed to this bit.
I am. I don't want Isaiah to feel bad that he forgot the day. That's why I thought we did the Starbucks, food fight
Makes sense.
earlier.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of tie it all in.
Then why didn't you acknowledge that?
Well, I just wanted
Then.
we were just waiting until
For
the right
you.
moment.
I kind of actually am a little upset that we didn't have it ribboned throughout the day of actually we shot off confetti and
Balloons,
had
banners.
stuff all day throughout the show where we are acknowledging it.
So someone quickly pick up a cake. No.
I didn't know that we celebrate anniversaries here at Radio U because we've never celebrated mine.
You haven't been here long enough.
So I thought 1 year would be pretty important. I made it past the 1 year mark, and we didn't celebrate that one. So I was like, well,
Yeah, but
You'll be
that's
at
not
2
really a
years
thing.
soon.
if people got something every year, like the first year they made it through Radio U, the problem is we just have so many people that wanted to be hired and just would quit after 1 year.
No.
So then what year are you at now?
Several.
Several.
Well, we're not just celebrating the several year anniversary.
It's been pretty long.
If you don't get the 1 year, then what's the next one? The 5?
Yeah.
Then the 10?
I think 2. 2 shows you're serious.
Okay, the 2.
You can do anything for a year
The 2, then the 5,
just to
then
get a
the 10.
reward at the end of it.
So then what are you at? Are you at 5? It's
No.
better be your 5th.
No, it's not 5.
You're probably
Is it 7?
7,
It's
aren't
more
you?
impressive.
7
Well,
or 8?
we're not celebrating the 7th. What kind of a number is that?
I think it's 8.
8?
Okay, that's great.
Eight's a good number.
8's, don't act like you guys don't know. I know you keep track of it. Nikki, you have cards for everything.
I'm going to go upstairs. Oh, yeah.
I haven't signed a card. I'll tell you that much.
Let me tell you, every time it gets to someone's birthday, someone else will say, like, why do we do birthday cards?
I
And
hate
then
'em.
When it's their birthday, they're like, where's my card?
Yeah.
I hate
It's
signing those
true.
cards.
How
Nothing's
hard
worse.
is it to sign a card?
I hate it.
The worst is I saw where we keep the birthday cards.
They're in the closet.
Yeah, they're just all the same.
They're in
Yeah.
boxes. We buy boxes
It's
of
not
cards.
even personal. We just have to, and then there's so much pressure to have to write something.
And then you got to write something that you don't mean. Like, have a
Yeah.
good birthday.
Listen, if we're not going to do cards for special occasions, we have to all decide and all be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And then the real problem was, because everybody was like a flutter of like, yeah, let's just not. When does that stop?
Whose birthday does it end
Because
on?
the first person who doesn't get a card,
gonna
who
be upset.
starts off,
Is
could
it-
maybe be upset.
Isn't your the next birthday?
I think I'm the next one, yeah.
Chris is
In
as well,
I'm in
Chris.
July.
Yeah.
Chris doesn't seem like he'd want a card.
Okay, well,
I want a single cupcake.
you want a cupcake?
I just want, you don't
So
have to
you
give me a
don't have to
card.
share with everybody.
Just give me just a one-piece cupcake. Just like a one-piecer.
Okay.
I feel like
And
that's a good little birthday.
Why is this transition to what you guys want?
Actually,
when
no, for
it's
my birthday. Whoa,
anniversary?
whoa, whoa. For my birthday, I want a bundt cake, actually. I've
bundt cake?
changed my mind. I want a bundt cake. We have those around sometimes. Just make a new one for me.
Okay, a bun cake, and then it's a little late for your special day, but we just wanted to see, what do you want to do on your anniversary?
I just really wanted a nice surprise.
Oh, there's just, no, we got a
Yeah.
surprise.
You're
Why
right.
do I
It
have
is.
to- I
We
don't
are
want it to-
surprised. You're
I don't-
right.
I
There's
don't
a surprise.
I
It
don't
just
want to
hasn't
have to
happened yet.
plan my own anniversary celebration.
Well, we didn't know if you want anything specific, but there is a surprise coming.
Okay.
So you just wait
Oh,
out.
boy.
Just hold out
Oh,
for that.
boy, it's going to be great.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at radiou.com/donate.